Now, if you ever played deepwoken, you do know every build in this game, about 90% of the time, will be a shrine-based build. Now, I've done nothing but make builds for the last few days, so I decided to change it up a bit and make a non-shrine PVE build. Now, I did have pretty good success on this, where this build can two-phase chaser. Now, this is a remake of my last build that I posted probably 2 or 3 days ago, but this one is a easier version of it where you don't need a shrine at all, and it's still the same mantra spam, so you don't really have to M1, but I did put a Frost Hero Blade on this one, so you can use M1s, and I did use this in a Hellmode, and it does work relatively fine. You just gotta make sure whenever you are fighting Enforcers and Squibbos that you are being a little more wary when you're using like Warden Blades or your critical. Now, getting into the stats of the build, right here we already, like, all you need is 50 willpower, 40 fortitude, 25 intel, 25 charisma, and then frost and flame charm. Now, you do have 8 extra points, so it doesn't matter what race, but you do want to do frost draw relatively last so you can get most of your talent cards for flame charm and everything else. Now, the builder link will have all the talents and whatnot already listed with all the mantras also, so I won't go too in depth except for vitality, erudition, and song chant. Now, you will want to stop at 5 song chant if you are using the prophet's cloak. Now, I am personally using the prophet's cloak, so I am pin capped with 5 song chant and the prophet's cloak with like the wyvern claw update or whatever the talent's called. And I do go 2 erudition and 5 vitality. That way you got good amount of HP, a good amount of ether and tempo, and a good amount of song chant. Now, other than that, the only other things you do have to worry about on this build, if you do not have a Ring of Casters or a Ring of Ishin Zone, I don't think it will 2-phase. I think it will only 3-phase, even with taunt and whatnot active. Now, with all of that out of the way, I will talk about progging this build. So I did do Debt Bound for mine, but you don't really have to. Now, the only issue that I found was starting off on willpower or fortitude, because it does slow your prog by like a good 30 or 40 minutes. Just doing that first. So if I was you, I would either do intel or charisma first, and then do willpower and that as, like, you know, in middle of doing each. And then I would hold off your attunements for last, especially Frost. I did Frost the absolute last, and that's just because Frost, there's only one talent you want from it, and that is just the crystallization path. Now, I won't talk for too much of the boss fight, but I will explain that I am using an insignia gem for every mantra. Now, this is so I can just spam them all back to back without really spacing them with M1s, and also so Relentless Flames can get the most hits in without him venting you off. Now, this is not necessary whatsoever. I do it personally just because this build is for Chaser, and I am using this just to farm notes for bank slots. So this is a easy way to do it, but if you are doing like an Etheron, I would use Blessed Gems so you do get these back faster, or even Bloodless if you do take a lot of damage while fighting Etheron.